All right, hey, sorry about the interruption. Phone died. We had a little technical difficulties, but we're going to continue with our discussion of Ric Flair. We had just got to talking about like how Ric Flair changed the industry, things he brought to it, and we were talking about the Four Horsemen. You had brought up that evolution,
yeah.
And I said, yeah, I think that's just, wouldn't have been an evolution without a Four Horsemen, and you kind of agreed with that, so that's where we are. So, is there anything else you can think about that he brought to? Kind of like things that he did early in his career that might have changed, that are still happening now. The evolution, with your groups, you had them and maybe like the Freebirds and that kind of thing, kind of the early beginnings. But you see that 4-man group being brought out more and more by people.
Right now, though.
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Well, I'm just saying on mainstream WWE there is no.
Right.
New Day, that's it.
Yeah, New Day, but I consider that closer to the Freebirds, than anything. Well, the 3-man group, anybody can tag with anybody, kind of deal. So, wild and outlandish. I mean, for the time, Freebirds were very out there.
Well,
so
that's true. I guess. I never thought of the Freebirds as a bunch of sissies.
Well,
okay.
I said kind of like them. I didn't say they were them.
But they were dressed up like pink unicorns.
Well, there might not have been any pink unicorns back then, so you don't know.
So that's a new adventure.
Yeah. Back then they were white unicorns, So, one thing I can think of that Flair brought is just that style of promo, where that braggadocious kind of, this is who I am. Look at this, and look at my watch, and look at these shoes, and look at this shirt, like. I don't think, your guys before that was going out bragging on the amount of money they spent on their clothes. And, the catchphrases, the jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, willing to do, and, space mountain and all that kind of thing. I think Flair brought a lot of that to it. I ain't going to say he's like the original guy or anything.
He flipped it to his own words.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, like, he definitely got it out there and made it cool, And the cool heel, like he may be the original cool bad guy. I don't know for sure.
I don't know, because like Billy Graham was considered a cool bad guy.
Okay, yeah, I guess you got Sputnik Monroe. I think
you
he
got
was
a couple
a bad guy.
of them.
So
there's a bunch. But I mean, he was probably the one that went with the limousine, the clothes, and all that crap. I never heard anybody else ever really talk about that stuff.
So, just adding to Ric Flair, what's your favorite version of the Four Horsemen? I would
actually go when Sting was in it. I never was a huge Ole Anderson fan.
Man, I am. I'm an
I liked him in tags.
Fan. Yeah.
But like singles, he wasn't that excited.
Like Flair, Tully, Ole, Arn,
Oh, I like that one too.
JJ.
I thought Sting added something to it, honestly.
Yeah, face paint, that's what he added to it.
And then, I was young and he was energetic and he worked really good at that time. I actually had the one with Paul Roma.
Who was in that?
Everybody, but Paul Roma was just a new guy.
So
I think Ole was gone at the time. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I think once Ole left, it was just a revolving door of guys to bring in and take that spot. Because I mean, you had Barry, you had Luger, you had Sting, you had Sid, you had Hiro Matsuda, which I don't think a lot of people know that he was in there.
Yeah, just a little bit, not long.
That's when his corporation or whatever bought the Four Horsemen or whatever. That's kind of the story.
That's right. I remember that.
That's kind of how that came about. Wasn't
it with the bald guy with the mustache? I can't think of his name.
No, I think he had hair.
Man, okay, maybe it's not the one I'm thinking about.
But that he had bought into the Four Horsemen or whatever. But yeah, that's. I mean,
did you ever hear where Cornette said he was trying to get like the Midnight to become part of the Four Horsemen, but they got shut down by the guy that ran the pizza place?
Herb.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But like one of the promos that I heard this morning was Flair was putting over. You want to see what real men are? He was cutting a promo on the Rock and Roll Express, talking about when those girls that when those little girls you got running around with their training underwear on. When they want to be with a real man and want to become a real woman, send them over to, send them to see me, send them to see Arn Anderson or the Midnight Express or my compadre Jim Cornette or like so. He put Jim Cornette as being a real man. I was like, yeah, that probably was the first and only time he ever said something like that. Putting over Cornette as a stud muffin.
So. Yeah, look like a freaking marching band member.
Yeah. So remember, if you want your daughters to become women, just see old Corny. So that tickled me. So
Because them suits, he looked like a marching band member. Or were they nutcrackers, right?
Yeah, man.
Why he had one of those? I know he looked like a damn nutcracker.
It was all kind of stuff. So, with that, I thought that was kind of funny. So I guess that's probably about the same time that. Well, no, this was early. This was like Tony Schiavone standing in front of the World Championship Wrestling with the globe or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in the studio. So I don't think this was like
that was TV
full-fledged WCW as much as it was World Championship Wrestling, you know.
That's TBS, right?
Yeah, it was on TBS.
That's back when they used to go TV time remaining.
Yeah. Yeah, this next match is scheduled for the TV time remaining.
Yeah, a lot of times they'd run out and the match still be going.
Yeah. Well, so you come to the live show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like Flair's just like, you know, all these guys that have passed away in the past. I mean, you've got, you know, Macho, and you've got Piper, and you've got Dusty, and you've got, you know, the list goes on and on and on. But like, yeah, I think the wrestling world is gonna and of course it's not gonna change because it's freaking wrestling. But I don't think it'll be the same without Flair being around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of them going now.
Yeah. So,
I mean, he may pull through, but they say like he's having major organ
failure and stuff. And so, I mean, you know, and this isn't an excuse and doesn't make it any better, but you know, he lived a lifestyle that wasn't healthy on the body. You know, so
wrestling and then what he put in it.
Right. So I mean, it's one of those things like, you know, it's all gonna happen for us. It just depends on how it happens. And you know,
told somebody the other day you can't outrun the Reaper.
That's it. Yeah. So, but I mean, I hate that he's in this back edition. I hate even more that it's, you know, it's all kind of out of the blue. You know, is the way I understood it. It was like, hey, I'm doing good today, and tomorrow I'm in a coma. You know,
about Dusty bumped.
Yeah,
he fell at home and died like what 2 days later.
Yeah,
I think.
So crazy. And like, I think it's kind of cool that, and you know, I'm sure for his kids and his ex-wives, it's not that cool, but the fact that he ended up with Fifi from, you know, like the Flair from the Gold and stuff, I thought that was kind of funny. That so
there was a lot of them just kind of. I mean, Piper died in his sleep.
Yeah, so it's so crazy, man. Like, we don't know when our time is.
That's what it is.
Do you remember the Flair for the Gold stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's so good.
My favorite was when Piper and Austin did the Flair for the Old.
Austin and Pillman?
Yeah, what did I say? Piper, I'm sorry. Yeah, Pillman.
Yeah, Flair for the Old. You roll the camera. That stuff was good, man. Like, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, the beginning of Stone Cold was in ECW, but honestly, the beginning of Stone Cold was right there.
Pillman and him, yeah. Yep. I believe so.
Yeah, I do too. I actually watched, and I hate to completely get off on this subject, but I watched Stone Cold's debut match in USWA the other day.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and he was working Danny Davis, but Jamie Dundee was the referee, and he was young, and the whole match was built around Jamie being distracted. He would go over and talk to Jeannie, which was Austin's manager. And so I thought it was to build Austin and her up, like she was distracting him, because every time like Davis would get a pin on him, you know, he would be distracted by her. But come to find out, the whole angle was about him as a referee not being, like, they were putting over that he was Bill Dundee's kid, and you know, he wasn't ready to be a wrestler. He just proved that he wasn't ready to be a referee because he was being distracted, blah blah blah. So like the debut for Steve Austin in USWA in Memphis was based around a referee's angle. So you know, a teenage kid or whatever. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Let's say that's something about Steve that I mean, you may not even remember this, but his last match was with Flair in a steel cage.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that ties it right back in then.
Yeah.
How was that match?
Actually, pretty good. I think Austin went over.
Yeah.
And like the pay-per-view was actually the last pay-per-view he did was him and Big Show and Flair against Austin by himself in a handicap match.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like I said, it
was a Flair show, huh? Flair and Big Show?
Yeah, Flair and Big Show.
Yeah, so the Flair show?
Yeah,
it's a good tag name.
Pretty fucking horrible, but yeah. It's, I guess, as good as Miz show, huh?
Let's say Ric Flair miraculously recovers today.
Okay.
Goes to, let's do it for kind of the major companies that's out there. Ric Flair comes back, can't wrestle, but he's going to be involved in the business. He's going to be J.J. Dillon. Who's your 4 guys from WWE? Let's do a WWE, an NXT, a Impact,
I don't
and a
know
Ring
much
of
about
H.
NXT,
A Ring of
so
H.
you
A Ring of
have
Honor.
shit on that one. I'll try.
All right. I don't either. So,
Man, Ring of Honor's lost so many damn guys lately. Like kind of goes out the window. Too.
well, I think he would, I'll go first. WWE, I think he would put the Revival.
They just hurt again.
Well, it doesn't matter. The Revival, Dolph Ziggler as your Flair. And I'm going to put, and I'll probably catch a lot of flack from this, Baron Corbin as the 4th guy.
Balding Corbin.
Corbin.
Yeah.
So Ziggler as Flair, Corbin as, just kind of that Barry Windham type guy.
Sid Vicious.
Yeah, and then your tag team would be the Revival. I mean, I think that's a very awesome mix.
Okay, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to make my Ric Flair actually Cesaro because he dresses like Ric Flair does a lot.
Yeah.
He can wrestle
He's got the
circles
suit.
around everybody else.
And he's not a bad promo.
No. I'm actually not a huge fan of this guy, but I'll say him just because he's a big guy. Well, no, I'll pick somebody I actually like. Braun Strowman as the Muscle. And I'll probably stick with Revival as tag team because I do like the Revival.
I mean,
a lot.
even if he didn't have a 4 horseman group, if they just put him with the Revival, I think it'd be the perfect fit,
And Braun's an awesome muscle man.
Yeah. Well, who was the guy you were going to say that you didn't say because you didn't like him?
I ain't gonna say.
I'm cute. Oh, come on now, I want to know.
I ain't gonna say.
They won't look. They're asking. I see a dude. He's like, hey, I want to know. I see you right there.
He's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. So.
Cass.
Because I think it's freaking horrible.
Yeah, I don't watch it that much.
He's better than Enzo, but he's still horrible.
If you were going to do it in NXT, obviously Bobby Roode would have to be in there. Like Bobby Roode, Ric Flair, perfect together to me.
Weren't they in a team together or something?
Probably.
Okay.
Fortune, I think.
Yeah.
I know they just signed Adam Cole, so let's get him. And there's the Authors of Pain. I think they were Ellering. Okay. Let's put them in there. So that'd be Bobby Roode, Adam Cole, and Authors of Pain.
Okay.
That's my guys. And that's only because I don't know a lot of NXT guys.
I don't either, so you're out creek on NXT. Hell,
I do NXT, you do Impact. Who you getting from Impact?
God, I even know less about that. I ain't seen it so long, dude. I legit
Man,
don't know
you're
who's
missing it.
left.
It's getting good.
What am I going to do?
I don't know. Move. I don't know.
Shit, I don't have the channel, you know. I know a few that's there. I say this, I'd make Abyss the Muscle.
Abyss or Joseph Park?
Abyss.
Okay. Well, Joseph Park's there right now.
Well, I get that, but I like Abyss.
Yeah, I can't see Abyss in a 3-piece suit.
He's in a 3-piece suit. It's Joseph Park. So what's the difference?
He loses his toughness when he's in a suit. It's Joseph
Now
Park.
he bleeds.
Oh yeah, he just had to walk around.
And Flair knows how to make people bleed. Ask him. He knows how to make yourself bleed.
All right, you got Abyss. Bobby Lashley, see your Ric Flair.
What the hell? Hold on a minute. Hello?
So we go with Bobby Flair, Bobby Roode, Mr. Telephone Call. He's got Bobby Roode. He's got Abyss. I'm gonna pick them for you. You got Grado and you got Richard Justice. That's what I think you got. So yeah, that's Flair's Impact group is Joseph Parks, Richard Justice, Grado, and Bobby Roode. That's who you're getting. So, so it's going to be the not so 4 horsemen. So, man, we've been this makes probably 25 minutes. So you got anything to wrap up?
No, I gotta find out who the hell this was calling me because it may have been my new job.
Yeah, wrap it up with a woo for us.
No, woo and bye.
Woo!